as you progress in tango, one of the things you're going to hear about tango is that it is a very connected dance. You have a very solid connection with your partner, almost in a way that is not done in any other dance. This comes into things if you're leading a partner in certain ways. We have ways of doing it, sometimes more blatantly, but also more subtly, where you have to really take advantage of this connection. And the way we normally connect with a partner is with the chest. And we don't even have to be touching chests. So long as they are both aligned right in front of each other, then we can sense which way each of us is going. And there are also some tricks that this gives yourself as you're dancing. And so what I'm going to talk about right now is this concept of dissociation, where you've got your hips and legs doing one thing and your body's doing something else to stay with your partner. And also some of these other little benefits you can get. You can use this concept to really take advantage of it. Okay, so as I say, we'll normally have a partner in front of us. Okay, right now we don't. We're practicing on our own. But if we did, we would have a partner directly in front of us. In ballroom, she would normally be off to the side a little bit. Depending on what you're doing, you might have a hip connection here. In tango, she's going to be right in front of you, right here. And we're going to be leaning forward, she's going to be leaning forward, and so our feet don't clash. And so keeping her off to the side is not an issue. We can keep her right here. Now, this means that as we're doing things like maybe walking around her, then we're going to have to keep this facing her. And so we're going to end up doing something like this. We'll be twisting our hips, but keeping this facing where it has to. And so if I'm walking along with someone here, I can walk along this way. Okay, my hips are defining which way I'm going because my legs and feet are aligned with it. Okay, up here is staying where my partner is. If I'm going around a partner, I keep this towards the partner. The partner's in the middle. My chest is facing her. My hips are off to the right, so I can walk around to the right. Okay, so this is an important concept, and it'll come up in some of the things you're doing. One fairly easy step that is often taught for beginners is called an ocho. Ocho is the Spanish word for 8, obviously, and it's called an ocho because it looks a bit like a figure 8 as you're dancing it. All you'll be doing is coming across the side here, and then pivoting back, come back here, pivot back, just back and forth this way. All right, you can do it backwards as well. Now, you will see a lot of people, especially in the beginners classes, who will just go straight into this sort of thing and around like that, and then they'll come around like this, and they'll come around like this, and you'll find they're taking forever to get turned around. They're ending up all over the place. Why? Because their upper body is turning with them and is trying to keep them turning further than they want to turn to be able to come back and do whatever they're doing. The way to control that is to reduce the amount of your body that is turning. And so if I'm keeping this facing this way and doing all my pivoting down here, it's a lot easier to stay in control because I don't have up here throwing myself all over the place. I can do the same thing going backwards. Okay, and as I say, this is a step which is called an ocho. It sounds like a fancy thing. What are we doing? We're basically just doing little half turns, same as we did in the last video. So it's nothing really new. But what is new here is this thing of keeping our chest aligned where it has to be, keeping our hips aligned with the direction we're going, and so there's a dissociation going on. And so we can take advantage of that. So we'll be using this to stay connected with our partner. We'll also be using it to reduce the amount of flailing around that our body is doing, so we're not... You can see here as I turn my shoulders, my body is starting to go along with it. And so we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to keep that under control. And so we keep the upper body where it is, fixed in space. And we'll do our pivoting down here. Okay. Another thing that this can gain you, which will come up if you start trying some more challenging things, especially at higher speeds and stuff, is you can use this counter rotation to help you get around. There's another step that you often get taught in beginners classes at some point. They call it a giro. It's a Spanish word meaning basically just a walk around turn. And we're going to be walking, take a turn, another turn around, and we have a way of carrying on. Okay, I'm going to spend a moment just walking you through this because it's a basic thing. It gives you a way of practicing it. If you think of a square on the ground, and we're going to take the 4 points of the square. So I'm going to go to the left. I'm going to start with my left foot. If I was going to the right, I'd start with my right foot. And so I'm going to step onto from this back corner of the square up to this one. And this is my left foot. I said a few videos ago, we go left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Here we're stepping with the left foot. So the next one is going to be with the right foot going that way. And so we're going to pivot around, go to this corner. And that was the right foot. Now we're going to be going with this left foot to that corner. And so we're going to pivot around, come to this corner, and then come back to the start. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the basic thing for that step. Now, the trick is, if you were doing this with a partner, your partner would be dead center in this. And so we're going around that partner. We're keeping our chest facing that partner. We're keeping our hips out to the right because that's the direction we're going around it. And so I'm keeping the chest in here. We're stepping here, and then I'm pivoting around, and you can see here I've got my chest forward now. I'm not over this way anymore. I'm staying pointed here. And so the transition from here to here is a bit of a counter rotation that I've got down here, and so that helps me get around. So I can get some help here. And then I'm going to have to go a little further, and so I can use that to help me get over here. And now I've got my chest to the right because that's where my partner is in the middle here. And now I'm back to the start. Okay, so keep that in there. If we're going to the right, we'll be doing the same thing. The partner is going to be here. We've got a square over here. I'm going to be here. Step here. Come back here. See, I've changed, so I'm still facing her. Coming around here. I've changed again, so I'm still facing her. Here. Here. We're still facing her. Coming back. Okay, and so this is dissociation. If you start finding yourself doing ochos and things and throwing yourself off balance, this could be the problem, is you're letting your upper body go. It can be a challenge, especially for people that are not quite as slim and trim as some others. They have a lot of extra mass that can throw them with more energy. And so you have to control that. And this is a way of doing it, is to try and minimize the amount of movement up here so it doesn't have as much chance to do that. And then you can dance just as well as anybody else. Okay? But this is something that you'll be doing all the time in tango. It's easy enough to tell people that are not doing it, because you'll be able to see them on the dance floor where they've got no connection with their partner. They're going all over the place around their partner, all these sorts of things. All they have to do is keep this connection. And it's easy to see. It's also easy to see if you are doing it. So be one of the people that's seen doing this.